In the name of God. Sometimes the meaning of everything can be gathered together. For example, a commentator recently interprets this verse and takes it to the highest and says that it is universal. Whichever you want, I tell you, the Quran does not have a meaning. All its meanings are correct. Or, for example, Surah Al-Asr, I have recently seen that interpret to Imam Ali, make sure it's all right. We show the trusteeship to the earth and the heavens and the mountains, none of them could bear. Religion is very heavy, you cannot afford it. Religion is not a game, religion has a belief, it has a morality, it has a ruling. A person who can be the cause of all of them can be called a perfect Muslim, it can be called a loving Muslim. Man cannot cultivate something in his mind by force. We have been shown beliefs, you must hold those beliefs firmly in your heart. There is only a God. Do you believe in God? If you believe in God and religion, you cannot accept to take your spouse out without a headscarf. If you believe, you will not let your daughter go out like that. You have to give up many things and you should not do many things if God commands. I do not tell Muslims about Christian or Jewish morality. I am talking with zeal. It is the morality of the Muslim community that they greet each other when they see each other. So why do you take off your hat? This is not to say hello, there is no need to do anything else. For example, do not say merci in response to hello. Or some people shake hands. This is the morality of Christians, this is the morality of Marxists, this is the morality of foreigners. The Muslim community respects as much as possible, for example, my sister, madam. These rules and ethics cannot be ignored. One of these rulings is prayer. Trust has been interpreted as prayer. We showed this prayer to the mountains and said, can you pray? They said no, we cannot afford it. Can you pray? The sea was told. The earth was asked. The sky was asked. The man was asked. And the man said, I can read. He said I can, but he did not read. He said I read, but he read incompletely. The late martyr Thani wrote Lama description, and this book was written in prison. From his dignity, the first martyr, see what a mullah he is. We also do not have a mullah in the whole earth and sky, and it has not been for a long time. He was imprisoned for being a Shiite. He was a Shiite mullah and wrote a book on jurisprudence there. Complete jurisprudence, which Lama describes as the martyr Thani there, and says, leaving prayer is one of the great sins and nothing in Islam is as important as prayer. If prayer does not save man, nothing will save him. In another surah, God says that only those who pray will be saved. In the name of God, the believers were saved. Let us not be content with just the words of the believers. See what a gentle verse it is. Shouldn't a believer pray? Shouldn't it be like that? Yes, they pray, and they should pray in such a way that they are humble in their prayers and obey their God humbly. And those who humble themselves in prayer, God is above and sees, and they have interpreted this humility in several ways. Some say that obedience means that the worshipper does not know who is around him on the left and right, or what is going on. And some say that he closes his eyes and does not notice anything, and some say that humility is to look at the place of kneeling and look at your feet when you bend down, do not look around. God Almighty says, do you know better than me? You cannot find better than me, look at me. It can be said that Ali is Sayyid al-Muwahhidin during prayers. It can be said that he is Sayyid al-Mus'alin, the father of worshippers. The narrator says, when Ali wanted to marry a person named Fatek, she said that I should see Ali correctly and rationally. When Ali was standing for prayer, Fatek saw that he was upset and humbled and did not notice anything. She said, I would not marry him. But when Ali came back, Fatek saw that he was like the sun and bright. At first he did not accept, but when she saw that Ali was shining like the sun, she sent someone and said that, if Ali wanted me, I would marry him. They say, Ali turned away from you, you can no longer see Ali. When you said, I will not marry Ali, if you are a jewel, he will not marry you anymore. Ali is someone who is not afraid of the mountains and is always bright. Fatek agreed to marry Ali. Lady, I do not want you anymore, you can no longer see Ali. He does not pray, do you laugh at him too? It no longer has an interpretation. If someone smiles at a non-prayer, it is as if he is destroying the house of God 70 or 70 times. If a person observes a non-prayer, he gives a morsel to a person to save him from starvation, it is as if he has killed the Prophet 70 times. On the day of judgment, we will not be able to appease God Almighty for any sinner who is exposed to the sun from two tribes. First, forgive the drinker, and second, the one who has not prayed. Except for these two, everyone can be called even a murderer. Satisfy the victim and forgive the killer, accept my intercession. However, I, as a prophet, do not say that God accepts. God. He made a mistake and did not pray. So say he was an infidel. My son did not pray and he does not pray. These schools do not allow my son to pray, but this government itself will get in trouble with their culture. The government itself will get in trouble. It will not always be right to arrest and imprison people. His opinion must be corrected, and this is possible by great scholars and preachers. What is your plan for this? Do you have a plan at all? They bite the hand that feeds you. I had a tape that I had talked about in Tabriz, in the Said Hamza Mosque, which they followed to find and take to Tehran so that the Shah could listen. There was a morning ceremony where they fired, which was also attended by the exarch and the governor. I said, see if the worshippers fired? Or did the students do this? Your own people fired and they were looking for the shooter. Even if they can find that tape, they are willing to pay 10,000 tomans for the tape. I talked a lot that day. Doesn't the worshipper shoot? Is the student a traitor? The worshippers and students know the value of this country. Do not pay the salaries of these lawyers for a month. You will see they destroy the country. If you dare not pay them for a month, you see what they do with the country. They always come to the market merchant and say pay taxes. Taxation has a limit. It is not possible to pay taxes always. Those who are interested in this country are believers and scientists. May God not make this country without a scientist. May God help the seminaries. Amen. I am not saying that they should not study in schools. this must be done at least with proper planning. It is narrated that if a person burns the Quran 70 times, kill the Prophet 70 times. For example, if one destroys the Kaaba 70 times, how guilty this person is. But this person is closer to God's mercy than a girl and a boy and a man and a woman who does not pray. What do I think every day about these honorable people in the parliament? Let me also raise an important issue here. We have a duty, it is not that he is close to God's mercy. What are you talking about? Thank you for your lament, thank you for your mourning. I am the first person to be a customer of these works, but this is not possible without prayer. My son, a person who does not know his ablution and immersion, saving your presence, and tell by deception, my life is the sacrifice of Abbas, or my life is the sacrifice of Hussein, then there is an illusion that says, your mourning sacrifice without religion. Everything has an answer, not be a mourner ungodly, do not be a lamenter, do not be ignorant, and ungodly, do not be one of these mourners, be for the sake of the martyrs and nothing else. Come closer so I can tell you how to mourn. Why are you playing this game? Who gave you this permission? What is all this unbounding for? It is very important to offer the 5 daily prayers on time, and it is better if you pray in the mosque, and if you pray in the grand mosque, 100 rakats will be calculated for 1 rakat. If you recite in the Hilla mosque, 25 rakats will be written for 1 rakat. If you recite in the Bazaar mosque, 12 rakats will be accepted for each rakat. And if you pray with the congregation, there is no end to it, and the way is to pray with the congregation. God does not like anyone who prays alone, does not pray it, or prays near sunset. A person will not be able to pray on time for 1 or 2 days. Sometimes a person doubts that it is time for sunrise or sunset. Can you always pray at sunrise? When you do not know whether the sun has risen or not, you should perform an ablution with disclaimer. And he does not know whether he intends to do so in this ablution or not. Do I want to be closer to God or not? Can you pray at sunset? Inside the market, like some guilds, of course, some guilds that do not pray at all. Should our guilds be like this? It is wrong for a person who is sitting in the office and does not know anything to come and see what idiots are inside the market, who are cheating in the market and their voices are not heard. Do not lend money to the one who has left his prayers, even though he is dying of poverty and hunger. Because whoever does not take a loan from God, meaning prayer, where is the thought of paying your loan in your head? He does not carry out God's commands. How does he want to pay off his debt to you? All the swindlers who cause destruction in the whole bazaar, do not pray. I am slowly saying that praying is not about bending and straightening, that for some people, praying is like fashion and class, and they do not know at all for whom and for what they pray. You pray for God. Prayer used to be very important, I mean, from our ancestors' point of view. At the time of the Constitution, when we were children, religion was destroyed and left. One day in Tehran, I was arguing with a great political person. Someone came and told me, "Do not talk and be silent," I said. We were debating. I was explaining about the Constitution and I said, "Where have you acted on this law?" I said these are so clever that they confuse you. Do not care about these people. Look at the words of the Quran: rights, honor, dignity, give and take, and the rights of the people are all mentioned in the Quran. As in the past, there was one of the merchants. When he opened the shop, he had a place for prayer in the corner of the shop, where he prayed a few rakats for the sake of God, and he repeated this every day. He opened the shop. First, he would say, in the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate, and he would pray a few rakats to get the blessing into the shop. Suddenly he saw in the world of events that he was told to go to a neighborhood to bury the body of a noble and great man. We arrived and saw that the same person is a business person. We came to pray for the dead. It is stated in the books that an excellency used to say, I do not mean the noble and great character of a lawyer, a minister, a preacher, and so on. A noble person is someone who has his heart with God, so-called empathy with God. In the books, noble and great men are those who know what is lawful and what is unlawful, especially that they offer their prayers on time. It is the only prayer that protects man from prostitution and denial. Some words cannot be said on the pulpit, but I have to say them. Monsieur Marvin acknowledges Islam and says, Allahu Akbar. How can the God be so disciplined and so with the law? He has made a worship of God and he has made preparations for that worship. A prayer in which there is purity and dignity and everything is perfect. There are 2 points that can close all prisons. It must be said that it can also close the judiciary. If all the people pray, neither the judiciary nor the prison is necessary. Now, this prayer is read incorrectly in Saudi Arabia. But God is witness that I saw with my own eyes that we were sitting in Saudi Arabia with Mr. Mahmoud, the son of Sharbat, who had an inn at the end of the city, which was a clean place. In the evening when the judges of the judiciary were talking, for a moment, when the voice of Allahu Akbar came, everyone jumped off the wall and lined up for prayer. All their prisons are empty, the courts are empty, they do not send prisoners there. They cut off his hand or cut off his head. They do not dare to talk to the judge. There we were talking to the judge of Mecca. I said, what will you do if someone is brought in now who has committed adultery? He said, the prisoner. And we do not have these things to do, we cut off his head and that's it. I said, have you ever ruled? They said, I have done this once in these 2 years. They have dealt with such a case only once in 2 years. Go to the courtroom and see that everyone is unemployed and no one has anything to do. 50 years later, there is neither a ruler nor a convict. The place should not be usurped, the clothes and place of the worshipper should not be usurped, carpets, houses, ablution water, hats, underwear, etc., none of them should be usurped. People say that if a piece of clothing or socks is dirty and impure, one can pray and the prayer is accepted. But if it is usurpation, the prayer is not accepted. Do not say that it is a piece of clothing or a button and so on. No, it is not acceptable, it is usurpation anyway. It should be mentioned I do not say that God curses anyone who attacks the pulpit, especially in the presence of the believers, O brothers of this television. Who has taken the prayers away from their homes? Someone said that one day when there was a strong wind, 2 people on the roof were involved in the system and the TV antenna, and they did it with a lot of love. See what the devil has done to them. In this strong wind one cannot cross the alley, but they went upstairs to adjust the antenna. In the house of the Muslim community, there should be no harmonica, no gambling, no glass of alcohol. I'm coming to your houses little by little to see if these things are there or not. In a Muslim house, a woman should not be without a headscarf, a girl should not be naked, and this is a Muslim house, not a Russian house. I swear to God that I am saying something to upset you. I am telling a story that neither you nor I have seen. One of the signs of the apocalypse is forgetting the prayer, and some people hurry to pray to go and watch TV fast. These televisions have taken honor and prayer away from homes. My shouting is no longer useful because this group does not believe in this talk. Change your beliefs. Your beliefs have been taken away from you. Ears if your ears, moan if we moan. What goes nowhere, of course, is shouting. The benefit of this Muslim of ours is that our cups are not polluted, our daughters and sons are getting married, their dowry is correct. After this, Islam in Tabriz and Tehran is of no use to you in the hereafter. I say this and I am not afraid of anyone, the account will be determined at the time of death. Respect the mosque and prayer. I swear to God, these are not lies, gentlemen, you know and are wise that God did not create the earth and the sky except for the value of prayer. God created me for prayer, and the whole universe was created just for the value of prayer.